Hey there, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to fill and frost a cake using acrylic discs. The cake will be filled with German buttercream and frosted with a dark chocolate ganache. Now, just so you know, this video is also going to be part of a series of videos that will show you step by step how to make this two-sided birthday cake. All right, without much ado, let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start off by leveling the cake. You want to make sure your cake has been chilling for a few hours before you level it. It'll make it easier to handle the cake, and it'll give you less crumbs. So after leveling the cake, you want to put your buttercream in a piping bag. So here I'm using the German buttercream. I'll have a separate tutorial showing you how I made the buttercream. So you want to put that in a piping bag and get that ready to fill your cakes. Now put a little bit of the buttercream also on your cake board. This cake board is about 6.25 inches, which is about the same diameter as the acrylic disc I'm going to be using to frost the cakes. Place your 6-inch cake on your cake board and the buttercream should help it stick. So next you want to fill your cake with the buttercream. So using a piping bag, I'm just going to put on some buttercream. So what this helps me do is help me control the amount of buttercream I put on each layer of the cake. This way I don't put too much or too little, and I have almost the same quantity of buttercream per layer. So you want to smooth that out using your offset spatula, and then you want to add on your second layer of cake. Adjust the cake to make sure that no part of it is sticking out, and then also you want to use a level to make sure that your cake is not wonky or tilting to one side or the other. So what the level does is helps make sure that your cake is straight across the board and not tilting. So once you're done, you want to fill again your second layer with the buttercream again, and same thing, you want to make sure that you have enough buttercream on there, and then you want to level that off with your offset spatula. So next you want to add on your third layer, and the same thing again. So once you add your third layer, you're going to want to make sure also that it's level, and that it's 180 degrees, it's not tilting to any side. And then you also want to make sure, so here I'm using my scraper to make sure that it's also straight along the side. It's 90 degrees along the side, and it's not jutting out too far off from the cake board. So just keep doing that until you get your cake level and straight. Alright, so fill in the sides of your cake, anywhere where you see some holes, with some buttercream, and then scrape off any excess buttercream from the side of the cake. So I will not be crumb coating this cake because with the acrylic disc you really don't need to, but you'll see once it's time to frost the cake. So now the cake is ready to be chilled. So put it in the fridge for at least an hour. That's how long I usually put it in, so that way you have a solid stack of cakes that will not shift or will not move once you start frosting it. Okay, so while the cake is chilling, we'll start preparing our acrylic discs. So this is the top acrylic disc, and what we're trying to do here is to wrap it with some pressed glitter seal wrap. So what this will do is create a barrier between the acrylic disc and your frosting once you start frosting the cake. Now if you don't have pressed glitter seal wrap, you can also use parchment paper between your acrylic disc and your frosting. You just want to make sure that the paper, the parchment paper you use, is slightly smaller than the size of the acrylic disc. So wrap that tightly and make sure that you smooth it around the edges, and then you want to set that outside. Now for the bottom acrylic disc, I'm going to add some double-sided tape to it and then place that in the middle of my turntable. So now I've placed my cake. My cake is out of the fridge now, and I've placed it on the acrylic disc. Add a generous amount of ganache to the top of your cake using your spatula, and then you want to smooth that down with your offset spatula. So again, I'll have another tutorial on how I created the dark chocolate ganache. I'll have that ready so you can also take a look at that. Now place your top acrylic on top of the ganache, and then make sure you adjust your cake, or make sure it's in the center or in the middle of your bottom acrylic disc. So that's what I'm trying to do. Now use your scraper to make sure that your cake is right in the center and the top and bottom acrylic discs are aligned. Now place your level on top of the cake stack and make sure your cake is level. And then what you want to do is start to ganache the side of the cake. So using your spatula, start to put ganache on the side of the cake from the bottom up, so that way it seals the ganache in. So just continue to put some of your ganache all around the cake. And again, you want to make sure your ganache is at peanut butter consistency, so that way it's not falling off the cake. And also, you don't want it to be too thick, so it doesn't start to pull some of the cake away or start to tear the cake. So here you'll see I'm smoothing the sides of the cake using my offset spatula. So just keep adding on the ganache and fill in any holes you see. Alright, so once you're done adding the ganache to the side of the cake, you want to scrape the side of the cakes, and your turntable will make it really easy for you. So just spin your turntable and use your scraper to scrape off any excess ganache from the side of the cake. Right, so that's what a finished ganache cake looks like. So now you want to chill the cake for a few hours. So here you see I've chilled it for a few hours, and I've brought it back out of the fridge, and now all I'm doing now is just filling in any extra gaps. Now take off your acrylic disc from the top of your cake by peeling off the press and seal first, and then using your offset spatula or a really thin knife, you can pry off the top acrylic disc. So here you see your cake is really smooth and the ganache is looking smooth and nice. Fill in any small pots at the top of your cake. Now a little trick too is that if you find that the side of the cake is not very smooth, you can use a bristle brush and hot water to brush around the sides of the cake, and that will kind of smooth around the side of the cake. Alright, now that we've ganached our cake, it's time to move the ganache cake onto a cake drum. So what you want to do is add some buttercream on your cake drum, and then using your offset spatula, you want to move the cake from the disc onto the drum. So put your offset spatula between your acrylic disc and the cake board, and then move it onto the cake drum. Center the cake, and that's how to ganache a cake with acrylic discs. In the next episode, I'll be showing you how to cover and decorate this two-sided birthday cake. I can't wait to see you. Alright, take care and have an amazing week. Bye.